and welcome everybody to another episode of A Talk of Opportunity at night.
Nice.
And I say that because it's like 7 p.m., which is like way past my bedtime.
It's dark out.
So it's dark. I'm scared. It's scary. It's spooky times.
We are definitely gonna have some free domain jazz for
Yes.
our
I
sting.
decided not to live stream this one because it's so dark that we have candles. We look like we're gonna summon Cthulhu or something over here.
I mean, I'm more of a Yogg-Sothoth guy myself, but you know, hey,
No, it's
whatever.
too complicated.
You do to us.
People don't know who that is. Cthulhu. Everybody knows what Cthulhu is.
Cthulhu is just the embodiment of chaos, though. You want Yogg-Sothoth because he has cosmic knowledge. Now, granted, your mind's gonna break, but still, it's better.
But you don't want that. You want to experience the chaos.
As long as it's not, you know what, it's fine. As long as it's not Nyarlathotep, I'm good.
No,
I'm good. No, that's a big, that's a big no. Hard.
Yeah,
exercise.
We don't talk. Yeah, no, not at all.
No, I really don't care who you. I don't care who you summon, just as long as it's not that fucker. He still owes me $20, by the way.
We need to do an episode on Call of Cthulhu, man.
Just can you imagine? Let's hey man, can I borrow like $20? I promise, I'm good for it. Oh yeah, sure.
I'm through a portal inside of like one of the
It's just like
one of the cultists.
It's like it just as this like chaotic old being goes away. Like I'm never gonna see that $20 again. Am I?
But you're like that guy who like really hunts down whoever owes you money.
Yeah,
Like he's like in space in the middle, like chaotic phase astral energy, and you're just like floating by. It's like, hey man, you got my $20, dude.
he leaves all my Facebook messages on red. Like I know you can see this. I see your icon next to it.
Because of course I will have a Facebook page.
Yeah, of course. Why not? Because
Yeah.
why wouldn't the beings of chaos and destruction be a part of Facebook?
They all,
Fucking Zuckerberg's probably one of them.
That's what I was gonna say. He surely looks like it.
Yeah.
All right, so, what happened? No, we're not talking about Cthulhu. We are continuing our 4-part season finale. Deep dive into the Shadowfell, part 3.
The Shadowfell strikes back.
Again.
No, wait, no. Wait.
The
Return of the
Shadowfell
Shadowfell. Sorry. Last one was Shadowfell Strikes Back. And then the next one will be The Last Shadowfell. which some people will polarize some people. Like, I thought it was really good. I like the direction it was going at. They'd be like, I did. They threw away a lot of good concepts. They didn't explain how the Knights of the Shadowfell, I think, whatever. That joke got old immediately after I said it.
Yep, that's what I'm talking. It's okay. I can edit it out.
You're not.
I'm not. No. But today we're talking about 4 more domains of dread from the book.
We treat this podcast like how cavemen treat the fucking mammoths. We leave nothing on the cutting room floor.
Nothing.
Anyways,
You get everything, the burps and everything.
Yeah, of course. It's for authenticity.
And it's not because it's an artistic choice. It's because I'm too lazy to edit.
No, man, it's like modern art, dude. Like it's like you get to live in with us. You get to live in us.
Damn it, Andrew! I'm trying to explain that we have 2 other episodes with 8 other domains of dread. So if you're jumping in this episode, we are starting with Ikath. Is that how you say it? Ikath?
Ekath or Icath? I like Icath better.
I was gonna say I like Ikath because I'm Hispanic. But if you want to see some of the other ones, some of the cool ones, some Borka, Game of Thrones stuff, some space spooky shit, Zombieland, like those are in the previous episodes. So make sure to check those out and follow us, give us some love, and leave a comment if you hate everything because we just want anybody to listen. But with that, before we get started, we're gonna roll the music. So here's the music. Oh wait, hold on.
What music?
I gotta play the music.
Wait, that was the intro?
That was the intro.
Jesus Christ. So after that brutal assault by the orc warrior, the initiative now goes to you. Jose, what do you do?
I'm gonna cast the whole time.
Are you serious?
Yeah, but not on an audition. It was
Oh.
It's okay. It's just the beginning. I'll edit that out. Or in. Not out. I'm not that lazy.
Yeah, I was about to say. Jesus.
All right, Andrew. Before we get started, as traditions dictates, we need to sacrifice the virgin. I mean, we have to talk about our coffees and teas. What are you drinking today?
I'm actually drinking because it's 7:30 at night. I'm drinking Sprite because I'm not making coffee. I'm not making coffee at 7:30 at night, dude. I already get precious little sleep to begin with.
That sounds like you're not committing to the show, man. We're gonna have to talk to the producer about this.
Mr. Fucking Arizona tea. It's technically tea. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
I had a can. Okay. And it is tea, and it was funny. Well, since you're drinking freaking Sprite, do you want to read the ingredients to tell people where it comes from and what it tastes like?
What do you mean where it comes from? It comes from like a power plant. It's like runoff from.
Definitely healthy for you.
Yeah, no, it's fucking 0% juice lemon lime soda. What's your fucking drink?
I'm drinking tea because I'm a real person. So last time I realized that I was drinking the same tea I drank the 3 previous episodes because I buy a freaking big bag, so I want to use it.
The jasmine.
Jasmine Jinhao. But
Jinhao.
Yeah, but I went to a Dagio Teas, and I got these little packets.
I'm pretty sure it's called Adagio, but
it's Adagio.
Adagio
Teas.
Adagio.
So they send you like these tiny little packets for you to like. I was supposed to drink this in June 20th. But I didn't.
Did it expire June 20th?
No.
Okay.
It's like the next one's like June 21st or whatever. Anyways.
Oh, so it's like an advent calendar.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Okay. Yeah. But it doesn't have the name of the actual tea. It just says a black tea. So it's not helping me. However,
I don't know. You figure this shit out.
I'm committing to this because there's 2 things I don't like. I don't like cinnamon, or I like cinnamon, but I don't like the cinnamon on like certain things, like cake or cinnamon, whatever. Fine. But I don't like cinnamon, and I don't like ginger. This black tea is black tea, cinnamon, and ginger.
Wait, you don't like ginger?
No, I like ginger, but I don't like ginger drinks. And ginger ale is not ginger drinks.
I mean, I don't blame you. Ginger beer is kind of like.
Yeah. But anyways,
it's like drinking floor cleaner.
Yeah. So is a black tea, cinnamon, ginger, apple pieces, rose hibiscus, cardamom, oranges, cloves, raspberry flavor, vanilla flavor, raspberry, apple flavor, cinnamon flavor, marigold flowers, orange peels, and lemon balm. Lot 042021C.
That sounds like a lot.
Yeah, I know.
So you're essentially drinking an apple pie.
Yeah, apple pie. That's with black tea.
All right, we're getting his reaction, folks. He's putting down the cup.
Ooh, that's actually really good.
See?
The apples and the hibiscus brings it all nicely together.
And I'm pretty sure the ginger and the cinnamon just kind of like tie it up.
Yeah.
I would imagine. Yeah.
What I don't like about ginger drinks is sometimes the ginger's just like pow on your face. Like that's it. It's just ginger overwhelms everything else. So I'm not a big fan of ginger for the most part because of that. But
I made the mistake of drinking ginger beer one time, thinking it would be like a more authentic ginger ale, and actually burnt like the top.
Oh,
of my
really?
lip. Yeah, because it was that strong. It had that much ginger in it.
Damn, my dog is going crazy. All right, anyways, let me take a look at the phone. You got let it cook the tongue.
You really got to.
You gotta air it in.
No, what you got to do is you got to breathe in through your nose and out your mouth.
Right.
And then that like. You gotta do.
I breathe out of my mouth and the tea's just spilling out. Anyways.
No, you have to drink it first.
Oh shit. All right. Let's get started. So.
All right.
We continue our exploration of the domains of dread.
Back into the mists.
Andrew, kick it off with your paragraph that you wrote 3 weeks ago.
That I totally didn't like crap out like 20 minutes before this podcast.
No, we're professionals. we prep a very long time. Okay.
Actually, yeah, I did prep this one, so that's fine.
You're breaking the illusion. People think that we know things.
No, I actually took the time because I'm like, I'm not reliving the embarrassment of last episode.
Yeah, if you guys want to know about that embarrassment, you should go listen. It was very accurate.
I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, it's like I read Hazlitt and I'm like, I got nothing. I'm sorry.
we got so much hate mail.
Did we really?
No, nobody cares.
No, fuck these people.
No,
I wasn't even listening to this podcast. So fuck them.
Not like that one guy that got really angry about Vecna.
He didn't get angry. He was disappointed, which I don't know is worse.
I think it's worse because it could have been like a really big fan of ours, and now he's just not.
He even said like, "Hey, I like the podcast, but you could have done some more research." I'm like, he is so fucking right.
Yeah, it was like disappointing your parents. Like, I'm sorry, Mr. Stranger from the internet. We'll do better next time.
I won't let you down. And then 20 episodes later, we keep letting you down.
Yeah,
Anyways,
of course.
Right.
This is the episode where you get let down. Just like Knife.
Yeah, sorry. All right.
There's a caveat to this, though, Andrew. What? We can't spend 1 hour talking about one domain of Dread.
I don't think we will. I don't think we will this time. Only because
I don't think so either, and I think we're on the same page, just based on your reaction. Yeah. Anyway, so go.
So all right. So we're gonna wander back into the mists, and our journey takes us to Ekath.
I'm gonna get a smoke machine for this segment.
Why? Just have it in the background.
The alarm goes off. The fire alarm. Oh shit!
Landlord, all right, everyone out. We gotta go. Come on. All right. Try though you might to quiet your steps, the soles of your leather boots ring out like sirens against the paved stone roads amongst the mansion. You thought at first it was madness to try to make it to the Guayhut Center, but food had run out. You can't even remember how long ago. Sleep deprivation had eroded your instincts, and every day you walk a mental tightrope to evade the ever-growing comfort of a warm bed. Now even the prospect of food causes your stomach to tighten in knots. Suddenly, far away and ethereal, a bell tolls. Though distant, it cuts through the quiet like a knife and causes you to jump in panic. You have to find a hiding place, somewhere where they can't see you. In a darkened alleyway, you find shelter, just in time to see a floating cadaver, arms outstretched, float by inches off the ground wearing ceremonial silks. You catch your breath in your throat as you watch it gently pick up a body of someone that passed out from exhaustion and return them to your home. And you can't shake how silently it moves. Makes your skin crawl. Suddenly, and perhaps from a nearby cart or stand, a persimmon rolls into your view. Wrinkled but not ruined by rot, it's the most delicious thing you've seen all day. Somewhere in the distance, the street roars and rumbles as they shift like they do every other night. You can't bear it any longer. The very sight of the fruit is intoxicating and you reach out to partake in it. But not before a clammy corpse hand grabs your wrists and suddenly you're face to face with a fanged ghoul as it breathes in your life force. The last thing you see before you die is a persimmon sitting in the streets. Ekath, people. Let's get into it.
All right. Let me play Enter Sandman real quick. Hold on a second.
Down, man. Yeah, and at the end, boom. Yeah, the corpse is James Hetfield. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so
mid-tier, early 90s thrash metal.
His hair is great, but damn. All right. So I was reading this, and at first, I'm a little confused as to how, like, what the goal of this one is, and how it works really. Because so the whole premise of this is that the whole town's asleep, except for like a few people, right? And there's two worlds, one that's parallel to it. One of them is the dream world of what's her name? The Dark Lord, Xiang
Chang, yeah.
Yeah, which is perfect. It's everything she wanted with her daughters and all the things. The town is, they don't really go into detail, but I'm imagining like all the roads are like perfectly aligned or like beautifully clean, like buildings are gorgeous and all this stuff. And then she wakes up, for what I understand, sees the real world, which is essentially a maze. Like her whole city is just falling apart. The streets are dirty. Like there's like dead corpses everywhere, people sleeping all over the place, and she has this army of people, which is pretty cool, by the way, that comes in when she rings the bell. Not people, I'm sorry, they're like ghouls. What are they called again? They're called the Yangshi.
Yeah, Jiangshi.
Yangshi, yeah. and they come in and they just like start like essentially remodeling the city every night.
Mm-hmm.
They just grab like a section of the city and it changes. So I'm imagining like the same vibes as like that the goblet of fire, that maze that moves, towards the end. I'm imagining that, but with the city. And there's only a few people that are actually awake, and if they find that you're awake, they'll kill you because you're supposed to be sleeping, feeding your energy to this Dark Lord, this Xian Qing.
So I was looking into it, and it seems like the end goal here, if you were to have an adventure into ECAF, the end goal here would either to be just defeat Xian Chang,
right,
or it says near the end of the ECAF segment to disrupt the dream. I think what she's trying to do is that she's just trying to subjugate everybody into like the sort of dream like prison.
Yeah.
And so if you were to disrupt said dream, because her dream is the idealized version of the actual city.
Right.
Like the actual city is ruined and desolate, but the dream version is what her paradise would be.
Right. Which is for what I understand. Oh no, I think I'm confusing it with one that's coming out later on. But yeah, you're right. It's the idealized.
Yeah. So we have regular ECAF, and then we have dream ECAF. And regular ECAF is full of people that are emaciated, they're hungry. It's described that food is literally more valuable than gold.
Yeah. I'm getting vibes of like the secret city of China type situation, like that kind of like overlord like fascism, I guess you could say.
And it's also kind of described as the way that it is built. You can't escape from the city. Like the city is a maze.
Right.
And it's purposely made. It's purposely made to change every night, which is why this is one of the few domains of dread that doesn't have a map. I think this is the only other one besides Blootspur that has no physical map.
Yeah, exactly.
How can you map an ever-changing city?
Yeah, and I think this is so. Last episode we went through a couple of Dark Lords that we were like, this Dark Lord is just an asshole. Like we can't, like there's no like redeeming factors for any for. I think it was like
Haslick was an asshole.
Okay,
all the other ones were like okay.
Well, yeah, but man, every single Dark Lord of the next 4 that we're gonna talk about, I felt for them. Even this one, because one of the big things with her is that she loves spending times with her daughters.
Yep.
And before we get that, do you want to go on the Dark Lord's backstory?
Okay, so what the Dark Lord of this one's backstory? Her name was Xian Chang.
Yeah.
And it doesn't describe what land she comes from. It just says she was
definitely not from the east past the desert after the Red Wizards of Thay. Not at all.
No, probably somewhere along the Sword Coast. Anyways, but the land her homeland was
it's Chinatown and Waterdeep.
Oh no, man! I don't. The Peking duck is so fucking good there, but Jesus. Anyways, but her homeland was invaded by barbarians.
Yeah,
and because of that, she and it says that her and along with some other people like of her homeland were pretty much refugees, and they were forced to flee their home. And somehow along the way, she literally got under the wing of a gold dragon,
which is cool as hell.
Yeah, a gold dragon found her and took care of her and taught her how to use magic and stuff. Because it describes that she might have had an already like adeptness to magic, or either way, the gold dragon taught her how to use magic.
Right.
So, using her knowledge of the arcane, she wanted to seek revenge against the barbarians that invaded her home.
And the dragon was like, not about that life, man.
Gold Dragon's like, dude, quest for revenge, you had to end up digging 2 graves, so we're not doing that.
Yeah.
So she discovers in her research that there is a magic bell that if you ring it, your dreams come true. The only thing is that it requires the scale of a gold dragon. Now, every Dark Lord thus far has had a single moment in their past where it's like, okay, this is the reason why you're in the dread domain.
Yeah.
This one coming up might be the reason why, but there's also some other reasons too. I'm thinking this is just the first like push of the snowball, and then it gets worse after that.
Yeah.
So Xian Chang decides, okay, I'm going to drug the gold dragon. I'm going to whip up a potion, just drug the gold dragon, just pluck a single scale, get out, and he'll never know. She messes up the concoction, makes it very much more powerful than it needs to be, and reduces the gold dragon to powder, leaving only a single gold scale.
And not just the gold dragon, but the whole horde and everything that in its cave.
Treasure, everything gone. Yeah. So it's just poof, everything except for a single gold scale. So she takes the golden scale, creates her magical bell out of it. It's described as dragging it back to the city, and then rings the bell. All the barbarians within the city of her homeland die, just immediately die, and so then it's no trouble at all getting the barbarians that were patrolling the outskirts of the city and killing them too. She is naturally elected as leader for saving her homeland, and it's described actually that Ekath is like a monument to like education,
like learning
and stuff like that,
and it's like a Renaissance type thing.
Yeah, exactly. They definitely go through a Renaissance, but then it just describes that the people are frustrated by her stern grasp on
it wasn't
laws and
it
stuff.
wasn't so much that it was one of those things that she was in power for so long, people forget the things that she did and why she did them. Yeah. You know, so you had this new generation of people who just came in and it's like, man, why is everything so strict?
Yeah. Situation. And it wasn't like she did anything terrible. It was just frustration. And then eventually things got to a boiling point, and she was fearing rebellion, and so she decided in her infinite wisdom to to assassinate the would-be heads of this rebellion. And that's when things actually boiled over. The rebellion was, now with blood being spilled, the rebellion kicked off into a frenzy, and they stormed her castle, and they killed her family. She was the only one that survived. And so in her last ditch attempt to, I don't know, try to save whatever remnants of her homeland again, a second time, she rings the bell. But this time when she rings the bell, it cracks. And when it cracks, it describes that this mist pours out of the bell. And then when it settles, we're in the domain of dread. That is,
I like that it's
Ekath proper.
It makes it, the way it describes it is almost like sand dust. Like this golden flakes just
it's like a gold.
Yeah.
Does it describe it as a golden dust? I think you're right.
Yeah. Golden mist across the land.
Yeah.
From the bell itself. Yeah. Which is so like a Sandman type situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense because that's what the whole the whole thing is, that it's sleep. Like this is, I think like we said before, the real Ekath and dream Ekath.
Yeah, right. But I think that you're right. Like it doesn't have a moment. Like all the other ones were so violent, and the reason was very clear as to why they got dragged into the domains of dread and got their own domain too. But this one, like, yeah, she killed a dragon, but it wasn't her fault. And like, adventurers kill dragons all the time, even good aligned dragons. You know, it wasn't her fault. She kind of like, oops, I put too much nightshade on this, and now he's not waking up. My bad. You know, she did rule this land, and it was essentially like we said earlier, a big old renaissance under her reign. And she just happened to have rebellion. You know, like any other ruler out there. Did she go a little too crazy? Not crazy. I don't want to say crazy because that brings images of like the mad king type situation. She's like, hey, I want to be in power, and you know, like, not rebels, please. Like,
definitely a bit more paranoid about her city falling the second time.
Right.
And she definitely overreacted.
Did she though? I mean, like,
she killed people that she thought was spearheading the rebellion. I mean,
know, but is that enough to get a domain? If that is the case, then every ruler.
No. I'm not saying it's enough to get your own personal hell. But it is like, okay, you could have.
Yeah, I like to think that it's kind of like a mixture of the dragon, you know, the scale that she took without permission, the scale that made the bell cracking, and I think there's not like a definite like, oh my god, she is the devil, like she needs to be taken.
Yeah, it's not just one thing. It's definitely like she either could have accidentally poisoned a dragon or accidentally like start a rebellion, and she would have been fine. But I think it was the fact that it was the two that like the dark powers like, okay, yeah, here you go. Yeah. You know, you want your city, here it is.
Right. And the sad thing about this whole thing is that she's a very tragic kind of figure, because all she wants to do, and it says that in the book, is she just wants to spend time with her daughters. And she brought her daughters back to life. The problem is that I know. In the dreams, they're the perfect daughters. They're just like they were. She spends hours and hours upon hours with them. They're beautiful, but she knows that they're fictitious, and she knows that there's some real daughters out there in the real ICAF.
Yeah, the real,
Yeah.
quote unquote real daughters in the reality of ICAF or ECAF is horrifying to say the least.
Yeah.
There's one described being made entirely of teeth.
Yep.
If you just want to kind of throw one out there, and there, I mean, some of these are more tragic figures and some of these are more horrifying. One is described as being essentially a dryad and can't leave a courtyard.
Yeah.
And then there's the one that's just made of fucking teeth.
Yeah.
We got the teeth golem.
That's very much topophobia when it's like a cluster of like things together. Fuel. I forgot the name of the phobia, and it's very tragic. She knows that they're alive, and she knows that they're in the real world, but she doesn't want to face her reality.
The thing is though is that if for whatever reason, and this might be one of her torments, for whatever reason, if all of her daughters fall asleep at the same time, the dream daughters are replaced by the reality.
Oh, really?
Of them.
Is that part of the torment?
It's part of disrupting the dream, which be one of the things you have to do. You might have to convince all 4 daughters to go to sleep at the same time or something like that, or you might have to, like, I don't know, use a sleeping potion or some crap.
Right. Talking about that, do you want to go over the torments real quick?
Yeah.
Dark Lord.
Let's see.
I think it's only
3. One of her well, I mean, obviously one of her torments is that her daughters are monstrosities.
Yeah. She
is known to publicly avoid them in the real world, but spends all the time she can with them in the dream world. She is trying to rid her city of any imperfections. Her dream city, not the real city. I think she doesn't even care about the real city anymore.
No. For what I understand, she wants to bring the perfection of the dream city to the real city. And that's one of the torments, because she keeps all of her scrolls. She keeps like what she does in the Dream City, like scribed, and then she tries. And then she tries to do it in the real city, and it just keeps getting more and more disorganized.
Yeah, because you can't just level a city block and then move another part of the mansions in there. Which, by the way, we say the mansions, they're not actual mansions. It's just rows and rows and rows of houses, which I would assume would probably be townhouses to definitely make it more disorienting. So it's just like, a wall with windows. Yeah. So it's the fact that she can't make her dream an actual reality. But then on top of that, she's described as being like a perfectionist. Like if even one iota of the reality is different from the dream, it's like, nope, we're starting all over again. So she is constantly rearranging ECAF and can't get it. Like, she can't crack the code as to why ECAF is not matching up with her dream of it.
Yeah, which is kind of like it's like a kind of a cool take on like lucid dreaming. Like the whole concept of it, like when you're like lucid dreaming, like things are warped in a way that it looks right to you, but it's warped differently. Like if you try to draw your dream type situation, the drawing is not gonna look like how it looked in your dream. So
I would if I'm running an adventure in here, I would definitely have a moment where like there's some sort of like device that the characters have to look into, and like a watch or something. Yeah. And then they look at the watch and they realize it's going backwards. Like, oh no, I'm in the dream. Or something. Yeah. And that's another thing too. If you're having an adventure here, you can't take a long rest in ECAF.
Yeah.
Because the moment you fall asleep, you're part of the prison. Yeah. Which, I mean, I don't know if that might be something you have to, like, maybe you have to like inception it and go further into the dream. And
oh man, that'd be well, that'd be an interesting concept, just going between dream and real world. Like finding like, oh, what she's gonna do next based on what the real dream. I mean, based on what the dream is, and then go to the real world to try to like circumvent that and not get trapped in the maze.
Does it even describe that you can wake up from the dream?
No, you're not supposed to.
Yeah,
you can wake somebody up from the dream just by shaking them or whatever, but you cannot.
You cannot
wake up
personally wake up from it. Okay.
Somebody will be like Inception, like fucking throw like on a chair onto a bathtub to wake you up.
I mean, that would definitely be something where it's like, okay, we have to get something we have to get an item that we need to, I don't know, convince one of the daughters to go into the dream, but it actually is in the dream itself.
Yeah.
So we have to send one person in there.
Yeah.
And the rest of us, because the Jiangshi are always moving around while the city is reinventing itself. So it's like, okay, we'll send one person in there and the rest of us will stand guard against these ghouls and stuff. And everyone's sleep deprived, so they have to make constitution saves and whatnot, and exhaustion. And it's And then on top of that, you're talking about food.
Yeah, I love how one of the details is that when you wake somebody up. Oh, by the way, because there's commoners all throughout the city, like on the street, like leaning against walls, on the floor, in houses piled on top of each other. They're all just sleeping, all of them.
Yeah.
You can wake them up, and as soon as you wake them up, the hunger of all that time that they've been asleep hits them at once.
Yep. So they'll probably just I would really nail it home and have somebody wake somebody up, and they just immediately and then just just turn into a mummy.
Yeah.
Right then and there in front of them, and just dry out and everything.
Yeah.
This is definitely an adventure I would probably put on like the lower levels.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and short too. I will keep it. It'll be like a one or two, like a one-off.
Yeah, I would probably keep this around 5 sessions,
maybe less. Yeah, but
yeah,
not more than
maybe
that.
less than that. Well, I mean, I
5 sessions. 5 sessions that we play like 3 hours at a time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Not like 5 sessions where people play from like 11 a.m. to like 11 p.m.
Yeah, because I don't imagine the actual city of ECAT is very large, but a lot of it's got to be every night the city changes, and so just think of the logistics of how to run that adventure is a nightmare. But I'm pretty sure it can be done.
Improvisation is going to be a big part of it, I think.
Because
there's no way you can prepare.
There's no landmarks, so you're just going to have to come up with a lot of house rules on the fly. Just be like, okay, the place is, roll a d20 that many minutes away from where you're at right now, or something like that. So yeah, there's a lot you can work with here, but there's also a lot of potential for something really cool and really freaky.
I can think of a lot of like restrictions too. Like you have a ranger who like urban is like their favorite terrain or whatever. Like yeah, I got this, and then you're like, oh wait, it's all changed. Like you can't decipher where you are anymore because yes, you're familiar with cities, but this city changes constantly. Or like a mage, and it can't do any like area of effect attacks because there's innocent civilians littered throughout everywhere. So you have to be very precise about things, like little things like that. Like you said earlier with like being exhausted, have like a level of exhaustion if you fail like whatever many because you're just sleep deprived, or having like not everybody can sleep at the same time, so somebody has to be in charge and waiting, and then that person, if they go down, everybody's asleep, so nobody can do anything. Like little things like that.
Ironically, it seems like this area kind of, what's the word? It promotes anti-violence because you can't be fighting in the city because there's way too many innocent people just literally lying in the streets. But you also can't really fight in the dream because there's no monsters in the dream. Like the dream is like an idealized version of the city, so why would there be monsters in it?
Yeah. Also, I love another little detail. I love is how they describe that, like when the what do they call it, the Yin Shang or whatever, the ghouls come around and they start working on the city. They like very carefully move the sleeping buddies. Like
yeah. They just pick them up and just move them. But if you're alive, they're going right for you.
Yeah.
Like and they just pounce on you.
It does say that there's like a small like rebellion group like that don't like sleep, like you know what I mean, like civilians are actually awake, so you can do stuff. It's not like it's just the adventurers. There's other people there, but they're always trying to find a safe place. And also the ghouls are not there all the time. For what I understand, they come in at midnight when she rings the bell.
They come in at night when she rings the bell.
Yeah.
So
does it describe why she rings the bell other than to reset the dream?
It's just to reset the dream, because she's constantly working on the dream. You know. Okay. Her torment is that her dream is not perfect. Yeah. So she has to keep working on it.
Yeah. So I think this adventure, like you said, I think this is a lower level, shorter gameplay type situation. I just like how tragic this figure is. I really do, and I feel like you have a lot of room to actually go in there and develop the story and have the player actually care for the bad guy at some point, like when and have little bits of pieces here and there of like how you reveal that these monstrosities are the daughters, like You know, like oh crap, like you can't really kill them. You know, like this is somehow connected, and it could be very chaotic because of like the ever changing map. But I think there's a lot of room there for like a very intimate adventure between like, the baddie and the adventuring party.
It even says that each of the daughters, they just want something. Like they just like the one that's the one that's a ghoul. She just wants her favorite dessert.
Yeah.
And that's why she's constantly haunting the Guahute Center, which is the only place that has food for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and the one that's a dryad, she wants flowers from her mother's garden, or she just wants someone to sleep under her tree. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's just like
it's very tragic. I love it. It's like just reading it makes you like, oh my god, this is very sad.
Yeah, but then you look at the artwork for a Jiangxi and you're like, motherfuck.
Yeah, it's like oh.
Yeah, and this is like a weird like kind of I would say it's like a weird like Resident Evil adventure where it's like in and out. You know, you got a day.
Yeah.
You know, kind of. So
no, I agree with 100%. Like I like to think because of the whole like sleep deprivation aspect of the storytelling that there's no like it's not gonna be like oh let's take a long rest 3 times in one session. You know what I mean? Like I'm imagining this like it's a very like hour by hour of the day adventure. You know, like. Because I mean, humans cannot usually go without sleep for longer than a week.
Yeah, there's rules for it in the player's handbook. Every day you go without sleep, you have to roll a Constitution save or you gain a level of exhaustion.
Yeah,
and I would definitely have it be something like if you all go to sleep, if there's not a certain item that you get, which is like I don't know, like waking powder, some crap like that. But like, or like waking salts. But like, if you don't get this certain item by this time and you all fall asleep, it's game over.
Right.
Like, that's it.
Right.
And this would be the one place where a sleep spell is the scariest fucking thing.
Yeah. And also like, if you think about it, like, I like to imagine like, let's say that there's not like a special item that like wakes you up or keeps you safe from the dream, the whole dream thing. And instead, people start like, okay, so 2 people have to stay guard in order for the other 3 to rest, and then next day they'll switch around. You know, yeah, you can do that, but eventually everybody's gonna start building up exhaustion.
Yeah,
if you think about it, you know what I mean? Because otherwise, if they keep waiting for other people to sleep while other people's guard, there's not a lot that's gonna get done, and then you're gonna start splitting up the party, and like it gets really messy. So it actually
describes. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but I just.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I might interrupted you.
Well, no, I'm just saying it actually describes that under the part that says dreaming the dream, you can't get rid of exhaustion by taking long rests in ECAF.
Oh, well, there you go.
So you're just stuck.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's why it should be a very short adventure. You know?
Yeah, I would probably have it be like 1, maybe 2 days.
Yeah.
Just to kind of get the whole moving city.
Yeah.
You definitely want the moving city part in there.
Yeah.
Just to kind of be like, oh,
like you want the actual Inception moving city moment. Like,
yeah, where it folds in on itself.
But no, it's just one of the ghouls like rolling up the street. And at that moment, like, do you question that you're dreaming? Because like,
yeah, exactly. I definitely throw parts where it's just like roll like secret Constitution saves like after a point. Where it's like, okay, like I'm the rogue, I'm gonna go sneak ahead and stuff, and the party's like, all right, this guy's taking a while. What's taking so long? And you go, and he just like,
oh man.
But then the rogue is infiltrating the mansion. It's like everything's perfect. He's like, whoa, man, I found all this food and stuff. And then he goes back, he's like, oh no.
Yeah. Then he realizes that he's in the dreams. Like, oh man, I'm in so much trouble right now. So I definitely like this one in the sense that it's different. It's not concrete. It has a very somber tone to it, or at least that's how I would run it. You know, I can see a lot of like really quiet moments where like people just or the players will just realize things of the background of the Dark Lord that they will at some point. I mean, I think I would be like, oh man, I don't want to kill her. I kind of wanted to save her.
Yeah. By
reuniting her with her daughters, like so that's such a sad thing. So a lot of potential there for sure.
I would definitely. I'm just gonna say this one piece, and I think we should move on.
Okay.
But I would definitely in session 0 for this adventure be like, yeah, this city is being held hostage by this evil mage, and stuff like that, and just kind of set up expectations, and then realize she's just more or less the victim of circumstance.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, she made some bad moves in her past and stuff like that, but it's like, like maybe the dark powers are not this like binary justice. Maybe maybe they can be cruel and petty, and you know, redemption is not off the table for this character.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah. But talking about tragic, more tragic figures.
I know. It just gets worse and worse.
let's move on to Kalakeri. Kalakeri?
No, it's Kalakeri.
Kalakeri.
No, it's not. Calamari.
Kalakeri. All right, Andrew.
Okay.
Kalakeri.
Okay. The oncoming storm causes the trees to bow as you find yourself at the forest's edge. A thunderclap roars and a lightning strike eliminates the smaller of two mountains of which the temple nests on its crown. You wheel around in fury to your guide, an old man nearly doubled over in age, his face a winding canyon of wrinkles. You old fool, you shout against the rain. You brought us to the lesser Vochalum. No, no, young master, the old man says with a wave of his gnarled hand. Most are foolish, and the ambition of these fools lead them to believe the greater Vochalum is the one they seek, when all that lies inside is death. You better be right, or all that lies for you is death, you snarl, hand on your scimitar. You hope your words don't reflect the growing anxiety in your soul of the promise of glory the tiger-headed demon offered you when you laid ruin to the sapphire throne. Amongst the vine-covered stone of the lesser temple, you kneel in front of the many-armed god statue in supplication and pray for the power that was whispered to be bestowed upon the worthy. Guide my fury and let the false Maharani be crushed under my heel, you whispered, and suddenly you feel it, a tingling at first, from the bottom of your spine traveling up. This must be it. The Vochalum saw me worthy and will now make me a god amongst men. But then a bolt of pain runs through you. Your back arches as your shoulder blades elongate into wings. Your arms fold into your ribs and your head begins to stretch and expand. Your screams fill the temples, but underneath it lies the cackling of an old man. Now you will be another wyvern in Ramya's service, you ambitious fool. Now you will serve that which you hate and destroys those you love. You watch him hobble out of the temple into the storm, and you let out a final cry that changes midway into a fierce draconic roar. Kalakeri.
If we thought that it was sad that some random rebels took down what was her name, Shang Tian. Oh man, this one is just like a telenovela all the way through.
Yeah, this is like there's a lot of room here to either play the Dark Lord here as extremely naive or have it just be heart-wrenching.
No, I will go hard. I don't think she's naive. I think she just wants to believe. Like she's.
Yeah. It's God. Okay, you know, let's just get into it. Just.
All right. So Kalakeri, Andrew. It is for what I understand, it used to be a beautiful kingdom. It was. Sorry, my dog is going down.
Hi, lady.
So Kalakeri, for my understanding is that it used to be a beautiful kingdom governed by it's not a king, it's not a queen. What is it called?
A Maharani.
Maharani, which by the way, her artwork is bomb. Mm-hmm. Ramya Vasavadan, and Ega.
I am definitely gonna mess these names up. I'm sorry.
Sure. And her armor is bomb, but and it was beautiful, prosperous. It was a prosperous kingdom, and man, freaking sibling jealousy just got in the way, and
it wasn't even sibling jealousy. It was just one like petty motherfucker just had to ruin it for the rest of everybody.
Pretty
else.
much, yeah.
Yeah.
So do you want to go on into more detail as to like what I just rambled on about?
Okay, so essentially what happened was that Kalakeri is a land that is obviously inspired by Indian mythos, and 100%. Just structure and ideology and stuff like that.
Even into the beast that they transform into.
Yeah. And so the Dark Lord of Kalakeri is the Maharani of Ramya Vasavadan. I'm sorry, Vasavadan.
Vasavadan.
Ramya. I'm just going to call her Ramya.
Yeah.
And when her father handpicked her to be the next Rani.
Yeah.
but her brother. Okay, I'm gonna try this one. Arajani, um,
Yeah.
uh, didn't want any part of that. He thought he was going to be the next Rana. He wanted to be the Maharana, and so because of that, started a bit of a civil war against Ramya. Um, and so they I don't know if they fought or not, but it did end up with the brother being imprisoned, and all the while Ramya's younger sister. Here we go. I'm gonna try this one. Let's see. Ramya's younger sister. Oh geez, Riva. Okay, that's not so bad. Ramya's younger sister Riva was working with the brother all the while, like trying to like plan his escape in prison, and was secretly behind the scenes the entire time. And so tragically, Riva goes to Ramya and says, "Hey, I think you need to." Um, well, no, actually, no. They spring Arajani out of jail.
Yeah.
Riva springs Arajani out of jail, and so Ramya starts going on the warpath to like try to find him, and they're going to execute him, whatnot, blah blah blah. And tragically, Riva's like, "Hey, I think you need to forgive Arajani. I think, yeah, what he did was foolish, blah blah blah, but I think now we need to let bygones be bygones, and you just need to rule Kalakeri." And so Rami's like, "Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna meet with him, and we're gonna hash this out." She does that, and she falls right into the trap of Arajani's assassins. And it describes that as the garrote is tightening around her neck, she calls them vicious beasts. And when she dies, a storm sweeps through Kalakeri, and this storm is what brings.
She dies, and then they don't even give her the honor of like being like she's a queen and burying her like a queen.
Oh yeah, well
they throw that the storm comes after they throw her into the sea like with the rest.
Oh okay. Yeah. Okay, sorry, my apologies. So then they desecrate her corpse a little bit by just throwing it into the sea.
Which I'm getting vibes of Game of Thrones. What's her name? The lady in gray. The
gray lady.
The one that the books. I know there's a lady in like a.
Lady Stoneheart.
Lady Stoneheart. Like I'm getting vibes from that. Yeah.
Yeah, where they're just like, all right, fuck this, and then they just throw her into the ocean. And when that happens, the sea churns with the storm, and the storm is what plunges Kalakeri into the Shadowfell. Now, keep in mind, everyone is still more or less who they are now, but Ramya comes back. She is I guess reborn. She comes back undead. And it describes how she leads an army of the undead with her, and it describes how she's, yeah, and it describes how she stampedes through the palace with an undead elephant, and crushes her siblings underneath its hooves.
Can you blame her though?
No, but then here's the crazy part: her siblings come back.
Yeah,
they're all three of these are like perpetually cursed to come back, and they come back much like Ramya's last words. They come back as horrendous beasts.
Well, she says horrendous beasts, but the artwork, one of them is a fox and the other one's a tiger.
Well, I mean, yeah, I know.
I was expecting like like I don't know, some kind of homunculi or something.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're like, "Oh, I'm ugly," and it's like, "You're not. No, you're fine." this isn't like Ready Player One. Like, don't look at me.
Yeah, I'm hideous.
Oh no, you have a slight blemish on your face. My bad. Yeah. So Arajani comes back as a Rakshasa, and Riva comes back as an Arcanoloth, which might have been a step up from their noble stat block.
Yeah, honestly.
But one of the things is that Ramya, her artwork, she looks human.
Yeah.
But that's all an illusion. She's actually, that's all part of a trick, because she's a Death Knight. She came back as a Death Knight. And so because of that, any reflection shows her real image, and because of that, she's banned mirrors and any reflective surface in her palace. So with her being alive and the other two being alive, Kalakeri is thrusted into a perpetual civil war the entire time. Like from the moment you get in, from the moment you, I don't know, leave or die in it, Kalakeri is always at war with one another. And it's obviously against Ramya and Arajani, and Riva kind of acts as a spy where she's obviously on Arajani's side, but she's not above backstabbing anybody. The real sad part about it is Ramya wants to forgive them.
Yeah.
I think it describes that her bond is that the flame of righteousness provides the swiftest path of renewal. So she believes that if she can finally either defeat or kill or do something with her siblings, they'll be resurrected or reincarnated as like a just version of themselves. And it even describes how Ramya is to this day still willing to hear out what her siblings have to say, and she's still willing to come to some sort of treaties with them, despite the fact that Arajani has time and time and time again stabbed her in the back.
Yep.
And even has like faked their own deaths just to mess with her. Mm-hmm. And it's just it's really awful here.
Yeah, which is it puts the players in a very interesting position because they can take either side. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't mean that Ramya is going to be on power. In fact, like the siblings can take power, and if they take power, if they take over the throne, she loses the ability to close and open the borders as a Dark Lord. So you can really start either way. But the cool thing that I like about all this whole thing is the Renown System.
Yeah,
that they put on
that's really neat.
Yeah, it's so full on tails, and it's pretty cool.
So do you want to talk a little bit in depth about that?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, so because Kalakeri is in the Civil War, you can play to one side or the other, and you can use the Renown System.
Yeah.
And what that is, that essentially, if you help the rebellion or you help the loyalists, you gain renown. And there is a way that you can kind of gain both sides, but it warns you not to do that because they're obviously going to have spies on both sides.
Yeah.
But if you do things for the benefit of like the rebellion per se, you can get like information about the palace and stuff like from Riva herself if you need to invade it. But on the other hand, if you get stuff, if you like gain benefits with like the loyalists and stuff like that, you can convince her to like do stuff like just leave Jaderai.
Yeah, I know.
Just which is the capital city. That's where the Sapphire Throne is. Just straight up, just leave Jaderai and just let her like, you know what? This is a war you don't need to fight. Just let Arajani take the throne. That's what All Star does. And she'll be like, oh shit, you're right. And then she just leaves. And then Arajani can sit on Sapphire Throne, and then from there, I don't know. That's gonna be all up to you. And how you gain renown is pretty interesting. It's all very much based on the setting. Yeah. Obviously, if there's like a fight and you pick a side and that side wins, then you gain renown that way. But then there's also some more interesting stuff, like retrieving the original skulls of Arajani and Riva from the Tower of Skulls gets you renown for the rebellion side. Yeah. But then like evicting rebels from a community or something like that can help you out with the loyalists. So there's definitely if I were to run an adventure in Kalakeri, I want to see a struggle, an inter-party struggle between the chaotic and the lawful side, and like just have like the paladin be like, no, Ramya is the rightful Maharani, but then have like the chaotic neutral bard be like, have you seen what she's doing?
Yeah, Here's the thing though, like I feel like this one will definitely be one of the on the longer side of things, because I see this being driven by a lot of essentially quote unquote side quest. Because a lot of the things, like to do a lot of the bigger like renown benefits, I mean you need like I think the max is 25 points, but most things give you +1, -2, -3, -5, +2, +4 on it. So at the bare minimum, if you do like the hardest things, you need like what is that 5 side quests if you do like all +4s, and even then you barely get to the 25 point.
Yeah.
So like it's definitely on the longer side. A lot of side quests. This is one of those like Skyrim. You go into one of the I forgot the town all the way to the south.
Yeah.
And then like the Thieves Guild like greets you type situation. and you're like, slowly building your reputation with the Thieves Guild.
Yeah, Skyrim's for the Nords.
Yeah.
But no, I can definitely see this being like there's gonna have to be some sort of like conflict or instigating event that gets you into Kalakeri proper.
Right.
But then after that, like you're in Jaderai, and it's just like, okay, go.
Yeah.
And let's just see what happens.
Yeah. No, I agree. And then another thing we didn't mention is that a lot of the rebels are in the backwaters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the map of Kalakeri, it describes that Jaderai is on a peninsula that I believe is on a cliff, and it overlooks this massive forests and backwaters and swamp and riverlands and stuff like that. So really, there's only one actual like town, and then the rest is just wilderness. Which I mean, it's great. You just throw the most exotic, weird animals.
Yeah.
Have a giant snake eating somebody.
Feather T-Rexes.
Feather T-Rexes.
Open Call of Cthulhu. Open Tomb of Annihilation. You start. Picking from there.
Get some koalas in there.
Yeah.
I mean, go nuts, man. And it even describes that it's called the island of the Naga. It's an island of Naga. I'm not gonna.
What could be there?
Snake people!
Oh, there's so many snakes. Do you read the name?
And I would definitely throw Jaunty in there, because why the fuck not?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you know what every adventure needs? About 15% more Jaunty.
No.
Yes.
I don't like snakes.
But I mean, and I would also make this a bit of a longer adventure too, because it's eventually going to come to a point where you're going to have to pick a side, and you're either going to have to be with Ramya or with Arajani and Riva, and whichever side you choose, it's going to be a battle, because a Rakshasa by themselves are kind of intimidating. A Rakshasa and an Arcanoloth,
I think.
But then on the other hand, you got a Death Knight.
You have a
on
Death
top
Knight,
of a dead elephant.
Yeah.
So,
well, here's the other thing too. Like, I think one of the hardest way to accomplish this, like, if you think of it like a completionist, video game.
Sorry, I forgot to mention. Ramya also commands like a small air force of wyverns.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's where the Vochalans come in.
Small detail.
Just little tiny detail. She has an army of wyverns, so there's also that to deal with. Anyways, you were saying?
I think the hardest thing would be can you imagine like if a party manages to infiltrate both and get them to reconciliate?
I don't think that would ever happen. I unfortunately, I think there's some. As much as I would love for that to happen, I think it straight up describes like the Dark Powers will always have them in conflict with it, or at the very least, maybe if Arajani's out of the picture, Riva and Ramya can consolidate. And so it's just like, hey, we just got to kill this fucking tiger bastard, and then once he's dead, your backwards hand, fuck.
Yeah. But yeah, I
think that would be really neat though. If you were somehow to get highest renown for either side, and then it's like, all right, we can do this. We're gonna harm,
I feel like this is prime for a short adventure. I'm not talking full on campaign. I'm talking like an adventure. You know what I mean? Not a one-off, an adventure.
It would have to be a lot longer than a one-off.
I think it's in the middle. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, not a one-off, not a full campaign of 3 years, but like a chunker in the middle, like a good 20 sessions.
That all depends on how you want to play it, but yeah, I can definitely see this being a longer adventure. I would probably cap it off somewhere like around like maybe 10, maybe a little bit higher just in case. Yeah, throw a couple of magic items in there to make the cap not so.
That's soft cap.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Okay. Oh well, fuck it.
No,
all right, cool.
No, I mean, final thoughts for me is I like it. I like the system of like the Renown system between the rebels and the loyalists. I think there's a lot of room to play both sides and get like in like, oh, we're gonna side with this guy. No, lies. Stab him in the back.
The amount of tension though when you have to report to Arajani when you're also actively spying against him must be immense.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like please let the spell work or something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, let's move on to the next one. Cartacas.
Cartacus? Cartacas.
Cartacas.
Cartic ass.
No.
All right.
All right. Hit us with your wordsmithing.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up one more time for the lovely Shanalot. Always a pleasure to have her perform here at the Crystal Club. You enter backstage, clutching one of the many bouquets thrown at you, with applause at your heels and the energy of the crowd in your back. How'd you ever get so lucky to be in this place? Things seem so perfect here, almost as if it was made for you. The afterglow of your performance turns to delight as you see that Harkin, your mentor, stands next to your vanity, absent-mindedly spinning the bow to his violin on the table with a finger bouncing it just so. Oh my God, you squeal in your giddiness. Did you see that performance? They loved it. They loved me. He looks up and smiles, but it doesn't portray the sadness in his eyes. What did I tell you, kid? He mutters. I said they'd eat you right up. What's wrong, you ask? You never seen like this before, so morose and taciturn. He was usually the one with the easy smile and the devil-may-care attitude. His sudden change in demeanor worried you. I've got to be honest, he said, putting his hand on your shoulder. I don't think you got what it takes. Sure, they may love you now, but what about in a year or even a month? These people chew you up and spit you right out, and it's probably for the best if you just call it quits while you're at your peak. The room starts spinning, and your breathing becomes sharp and short. Retiring? Now? Why? Harkin never led you astray before, but he was so quick to impart wisdom, he even used his influence to help you on your path. But now that you think about it, he wasn't in the picture as much. You didn't need him to book the showing at the Crystal Club, and suddenly it all made sense. You're not looking out for me, you say in disdain. You're using me. You had me like a puppet on a string so that people could see Harkin's new act, and now I'm too big for you. You can't handle the fact that I'm famous. You're a has-been. A flash of anger crosses his face. He blinks and lupine yellow eyes look back. And suddenly, without warning, he launches at you with razor-sharp teeth. You try to scream, but as he tears into your throat, all you can manage is a wet gurgle. Your feet kick out their last and you bleed out, and things start to go dim when you hear him say, "It has been? Nah, kid. This is the beginning of my comeback tour."
All yeah. Right. So I like, okay, so I was reading this whole thing, and there's like a line at the beginning that says something about like beast or whatever. Like, oh, that's a weird word. Like, what does that have to do with anything? And then you like, because it's introducing like how everybody's like shows, like it's a showman, and everybody wants to be like, you know, it's essentially Hollywood. And then it goes into freaking lycanthropy, and I'm like, oh, that's where it goes.
Oh, where it says like all predators of all sorts flourish in this land.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
that's weird.
Okay, it's werewolves.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good.
But I love. Okay, so I was reading this, and I'm like, man, this is prime, because for the first time in this book, nobody knows who the fuck the Dark Lord is. Like, he's a nobody. Nobody cares about him.
And it's built up in that way.
He's the character you were talking about. He's a has-been.
Yeah. He's it's weird because he uses that to his advantage, but it also jabs at him every time. This land is dark, but also kind of funny at the same time.
Because it describes that everything is showbiz. Like it's essentially it's a theater. There's no like it's not a house. It's a backstage. No. Backlog? What? Fuck, when Hollywood, when they have like the fake New York and they have the cameras.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. I know exactly what you're talking about. Everything has like a backdrop to it. And
I got it.
Oh, and it's like the but yeah, so everything is like incredibly fake here. And there's actually one town. I think it's called Backlot. Okay, everything's a backlot. And there's one town that's called Harmonia, which it's like a town in Disney. Where like everybody is an actual actor. Everybody's like, okay, we all like described our roles. And there's one guy like that like tips over a bread card like, fuck. And it's just like, no, he played the part perfectly. I love that. I love the authenticity. keep rolling with it. And it even describes there's like an underwater network. Yeah. Or not underwater, underground network of like actors like rehearsing their roles for Harmonia.
This is if there was ever a time to play a performer, even if it's not a bard, but just in general a performer, like this is it. This is like the point. I don't think I would do a bard. I think I would do something like
a bard would be too easy.
Yeah, something that like maybe perhaps like a barbarian who really wants to act, but his charisma level is so low. So he just he's Drax. He delivers the lines very dryly, but he thinks he's doing like this would be so good for that. Like you don't want to be typecasted.
like if he rolls a natural 20 on like a performance check, like people think it's so avant-garde, like it's so bad it makes me want to think what is good and stuff like that. These people are so like pretentious about what art is.
The alien with a cigarette. But is it art?
Yeah, it's like his performance is terrible, but it also makes me think.
Yeah. Everybody has a beret.
Yeah. Ah, my baguette.
Dude, I love it. I'd read like, well, okay, hold on. Let's rewind a little bit. I think we're jumping too far. Let's start Cardicast.
No, we're not.
I just got really excited. So Cardicast, Andrew. Tell us about Cardicast itself.
So Cardicast, Cartacus, it's a land of song and performances. Yeah. There's an actual there is an actual Crystal Club, which if you perform well there, they're like, oh yeah, we love you. And if you perform poorly there, they will actually eat you. Because it's a members only club, but the way to get membership is you have to be a werewolf. They don't tell you that though. But it also describes how there's schools of music and an amphitheater, and there is a place called the Wildersung Woods, which for every now and then, like, you can hear a song through the trees, and you never hear what the last verse is. Yeah. It's always something about somebody hanging in the woods, and then you find somebody hanging in the woods, and then the song goes away.
Sing of the trees, give voice to the breeze, and stave off the bloom of doom, while the wise sings their song, guilty necks stretch long and ...
That's it. That's all you hear.
You never know the rest of
it. and then it says, and it says that legend has it that in these woods, people die if they refuse to sing along with the trees,
right?
And that's where the actual hanging comes from. And it's this Cartacus is a place that really emphasizes like dark fairy tale. Like, this is very much like Yugoslavian fairy tales, where it's just like, oh, you don't perform good, werewolf eat you.
Honestly, that's what it is.
Yeah. So but okay,
Andrew's not exaggerating, people.
No, it's really not. So let's get into the actual. Where did you find the? Oh, there it is. I was trying to look for the lyrics. Yeah. All right, so let's get into the actual Dark Lord himself.
By the way, when I read this, the whole time I was saying Harkonnen.
Harkonnen.
Yeah.
You know what was really funny was that I was flipping through this book at first. I was like, oh, okay, this guy, he must be like an adventurer or something like that. No. Because you look at the picture of Harkin Lucas, and he's like this like swarthy looking gentleman with a violin, and he's got like a bow like over his back, and he's like he his hat's kind of cocked to the side. He's like, this guy is spilling charisma. But then the very first line of Harkin Lucas's description is Harkin Lucas's life companions are ambition and blood, which I think might be the perfect description for this character. And if that doesn't nail a character to the wall, I don't know
in one sentence.
Does. Yeah,
exactly. So tell us a little bit about Harkonnen. I mean Harkin.
So Harkin Lucas was born a lycanthrope. He was a werewolf, and for whatever reason,
you can be born a lycanthrope.
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. If your parents are lycanthropes, the curse passes on to the kids. Wow. We went over this in Curse of Strahd. Anyways, but so he was born a lycanthrope, and for whatever reason, he had a bug up his ass about becoming not just the king but the emperor of werewolves. Yeah. And he's like, all right, my people, we're gonna do this. We're gonna take over the world with our lycanthropy. And his werewolf pack didn't do that almost because it's like they're a pack of wild animals and they don't know organization. And when that happened, he lashed out against them. And it describes that he murdered a couple on his way out as he was being exiled, and decided, okay, if I can't do it through my lycanthropy, I will find other means to do it. And so he became like a minstrel, like a wandering minstrel, and won over people, won over their hearts and minds, and kind of became like a local celebrity.
More than
What's
that.
really
More than that, for what it sounds like, he was like.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, and then he rose to stardom and became like an actual celebrity, like world renowned, or maybe just like like realm renowned. I don't know about world renowned. Anyways, and
well,
so
he threatened the rulers of the land. So
well, hold on, we're gonna get to that.
Okay.
We're gonna get to that. And so he had like all these people wrapped around his little finger, and somewhere along the way, the rulers of the land figured out what he actually was. And they're like, "Oh shit, he's a werewolf. We have to get rid of this guy as discreetly as possible." So they tried to arrest him for fake crimes, and none of them. Yeah, they tried to arrest him for fake crimes, and none of them stuck. So I just realized I have my microphone pointing like that way the entire day. So my audio is gonna be really quiet up until right now. That's fine.
An hour and 14 minutes. Got it.
Yeah, that's cool. So they tried to arrest him for fake crimes, and when that didn't work out, they just killed him. I think it just describes that they just like straight up like tried to assassinate him. And actually, wait, hold on.
He didn't.
I want to get this right.
He didn't die.
Yeah,
they didn't kill him. He
no,
his
well,
death.
no. Yeah, they didn't kill him because he's a lycanthrope. He can't be killed by natural means. So he faked his death, but he did it to the point that the people actually thought he was dead. So they carried it says red stained casket. It's blood. They carried his blood stained casket as like a protest to the ruler of the land. And when the casket got in front of the ruler, Harkin leaped out of the casket in werewolf form and devoured the leader of the land.
Yeah.
And the weird part about that, everybody was cool with it.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, "Did you shit?" And then like everyone was posting poggers on the Twitch stream and shit. And it was just
It's as if they've been playing a new magic trick.
But then when that happened, that's when the mists came for Harkin. And he was found in this land, and he woke up in this land of Kartakis, which it describes how one of his torments is he is mildly famous. He'll go into a town, and he'll have people be like, "Oh man, you're Harkin Lucas, holy shit!" And he'll like perform for him, like, "Oh yeah, man, come back anytime." And then he'll come back like 2 weeks later, like, okay, yeah, I didn't see your stuff, but I heard it was
yeah. Oh, I thought you'd retired.
Different.
Yeah.
It actually describes how semi-polite variations of "I thought you retired" forever torment him. It's just like, no. I didn't retire.
I'll be pissed too. Are you kidding me? This is like the most like passive aggressive torment.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I thought you retired there, don't you know? I didn't.
He got the sassy dark power. I kind of mess with this guy in a passive aggressive way. and he's constantly like trying to reinvent his act. He thinks that like whatever he's doing right now is just not working. But another part of the torment is that if he finds the protege, that protege immediately goes to stardom, and nobody recognizes Harkin. Yeah,
and it's just like, and someone's like, "Oh, Harkin, yeah, fuck that guy. Here, sign on my record label." It's just like.
And then he
constantly stuck in that like little studio.
Yeah. and then he kills his protege. So
yeah, and then if the protege,
I like the whole thing with Harkin's bite though. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that if the protege ever actually becomes more famous than Harkin, he just eats them.
Yeah.
But it also describes how he has two kids. One is a daughter that loves him, but also wants to be better than him. Like wants to,
I mean, she looks exactly like him.
looks exactly like
it's
him.
like it's like if you run a video game and you change the genders from male to female, and it's the same outfit. That's exactly what
it really is just a gender swap palette, and then he has a son that wants nothing to do with him. But apparently they're both also lycanthropes as well. The one thing that was really neat, have you actually looked up the stats for the monster that is Harkin Lucas?
No.
It's a not boring werewolf. the loop guru. It has I believe it has like legendary actions and stuff like that, and it looks like what the werewolf should have been. Like it's more than just like a spear and a claw attack. Yeah. It's like, holy crap, this thing is actually kind of scary.
What I love about this is that every single one of these is like, oh, the Dark Lord is unapproachable. He's in the castle or behind an army or all this or whatever. I imagine this guy's that you walk into the land, you find a fork on the road with a lamp in the middle, and he's just there playing his violin.
It describes that,
or a little campfire, maybe, you know, like, oh hey guys, I'm traveling too, like just a regular dude.
It even says that like build the adventure with the players having no clue who Harkin Lucas is,
right?
And just being like, that's the first person they meet. And honestly, if I were running an adventure in this setting, I would have the players do my best to try to make them fall in love with Harkin Lucas. Yeah. Like just have them do like little things like, oh, like entertain the group while they're having some downtime, or you know, maybe he has bardic magic to like heal some people or something like that. Just like little things, and then just be like, hey man, can I bite you? And then he hands you the necklace, which Harkin's bite is a necklace that it requires attunement for one thing. And that is, if you attune to the necklace, you get a +1 to your ability checks and saving throws. However, you don't need to be attuned to it to get the curse of lycanthropy that comes with it. So, but yeah. So the moment you put it on your neck, you're a lycanthrope.
Yep.
And it even says even removing the necklace, it's too late. You're already a lycanthrope.
which is pretty cool if like if one of the players gets the bite, because if it's like all like smooth and likable or whatever, it's like, can I bite you? And then you know it's like a cool thing. He needs a necklace.
Yeah, and it describes he can just keep making more necklaces.
I just love it. I mean, it's a +1 to ability checks, man, and saving throws. That's helpful regardless.
Who wouldn't take that?
Right? I can imagine like the player attunes to it, you tell it what it does, and then everybody's like, can I get one? Can I get one?
And Harkin's like, oh, okay, one at a time. It's just like, I can only make so many of these. Whew. You know, and then like, oh, Harkin, and then like 7 days roll by, and this guy's
Harkin, you're a werewolf? What have you done to me? So one thing I don't know if I didn't read the part or I skipped it or something. What is the goal? To kill him?
I would say yes, because because it's going with like the sort of dark fairy tale version. I would say just kill him.
What if the players never realize that he's the bad guy? Can you imagine that? They just keep going in circles trying to find out what the hell is happening.
Where is this Dark Lord?
they look at Harkin and he's just like looking around.
I don't know.
All right, what's the Dark Lord?
Did you look under this rock? Oh, he's not there. Okay. Oh, Harkin, he's such a rascal.
Wait, he keeps the mood lively, you know. That's what
this guy. It shows him like kicking the body of like one of his victims like behind a bush or something like that. Hey guys, you want to help me get rid of this body? Oh, Harkin. How do we end up in these situations?
That's how the episodes always end. Oh, Harkin. It circles around his face.
That's me.
Dude, I love this domain. It's so unique. It's so nonchalantly, like, just, you know, do your thing, super chill, and I don't even consider that it's dark. I think it's like
it is. I mean, there are obviously reasons why it is dark.
Compared to the rest.
I would not run this as dark and gritty. I would just be wacky with this.
Are we in the Feywild?
just because, like, why wouldn't you? Like, there is okay. One of the adventures says that someone had a stage production of quote unquote tamed mimics, and now the audience is trapped inside of a theater where these mimics are like overrunning the area.
Yes.
So just have a mimic theater.
I mean, and like if you show the picture of him to the players as a prepare NPC, they'll think it's just like Van Richten in Barovia. You know, it's like, oh, it's just a helping NPC.
There's so many times where like because like if we were to show the picture of like Commander Drakov from Falcone, people's like he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
You know, but you show Harkin Lucas and they're like, oh, this dude looks cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on,
and like you said earlier, like he could do like an inspiration. Here, you're inspired. Just playing his violin and stuff, you know, like just to win over the party. And then like 20 levels in, they can't figure out who the hell the Dark Lord is, and he's just like, oh, hey guys.
Oh, that's really weird. Hey, you guys want some of these? I made some steak tartare. Does anybody want some?
I would love if like the players know or have an idea that he's the Dark Lord, but they keep rolling really bad on investigations and like insight and anything like that, so they just can't prove that he's it. But like it's just like
he can't keep getting away with that.
It's obviously him. Like he's a werewolf and he's biting into someone, but they're like, there's something weird with you.
Harkin, did you get a haircut? No, I got all of them cut. Oh, Harkin.
The most lovable Dark Lord ever made.
I mean, I would definitely play him as lovable, but then once like the other shoe drops, no, it's out for blood.
And all the werewolves come out. Oh shit! Including one of the party members. Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
Oh no! Okay. So definitely, if somebody gets lycanthropy from the Harkin's bite on this, you're not controlling that werewolf, my friend. You're just gonna wake up covered in blood, and
the wizard's
there's no more sheep left. In the where's
the wizard?
Oh, and Harkin's like, oh yeah, me and him, we got real drunk last night. He's back at the end.
He burps.
Oh, Harkin.
The player burps, and there's like a piece of cloth, a blue cloth from a rope comes out.
Yeah, burps up one of the magic rings. I did it as a bet. Oh, Harkin.
Oh shit. So yes, I think this is probably one of the funnest ones to play in this whole book, just because of the premise alone.
Oh man, that would be real. Like if the players were to go in blind and they actually do love Harkin, and they're like, oh, we have to kill him.
We have to kill this guy.
Oh.
They're like stabbing him. I'm so sorry, Larkin. We just cutting his head up. all 5 players just like standing around stabbing him.
Yeah, and he's like, who's the real monster here? Not I. Not I. I mean, you do eat people.
Because it's this domain, there's a crowd and they're all clapping.
Yeah.
The stage lights turn on. Turns out that you're in the amphitheater doing this.
He's like, all right, guys. Well, he's like, man, that was really good. I like the energy out there, man. That was really. The part where you were like sawing my head off and stuff. It was great. I was great. Yeah, you need to bring that in, man. You need to bottle it.
Oh man. All right. So yes, final thoughts. I think this is a brilliant premise for specifically for a domain of dread, because nobody expects.
It might not be my favorite domain of dread, but I could definitely see.
I think it's just fun.
Yeah, it's definitely the most fun domain of dread.
You're like, this is too happy. I don't like it.
Can't no.
No, not enough darkness.
Yeah, my body won't accept this one.
All right, Andrew. Let's move on to the last one for today. Lamordia.
So we went into the, well, quote unquote, fun and whimsical Cartacus, and now we're going to the cold and dreary Lamordia.
Otherwise known Andrew's mind.
No.
There's no sun there either. All right. Start.
Oh, there's sun here. Wait, is there sun?
None if you're gonna run it.
No, I want there to be sunlight. Anyways,
Hey, take it away.
that's not me. The adventures picked me. Anyways, all right. An excerpt from the journal of Captain Antonin Rothberg of the whaling ship SS Banshee. It was 24 days since we had left port and gave chase to our quarry across the Agonies, and even here I could see the towering machines on the shore. We had in our sights a whale of such indomitable size that the capture of such a beast would like to feed a family for months. Its blubber and ambergris for fuel and poultices once the tendrils were rendered. But alas, our trophy did evade us, and thus we were left with swabbing and scrimshaw while we went about relocating. It was then that we heard the cry from the crow's nest, "Man overboard!" The crew, less from admirable courage and more than likely out of a desire to be free of mundanity, were hasty in their retrieval of the poor soul found in the backwaters of the Sea of Secrets. The wretch was a patchwork of mottled flesh, clearly more arcane than flesh, but curiously carried no trait of any other rejected abominations we had come across on the mainland. Save for its surgery, it was a perfect rendition of a woman, evident by the careful stitchwork and symmetry of its face. But within its bosom beat a heart of golden light. "Oh, mein Gott," I whispered, and clutched the Pelorian sun in my coat. It was the unbreakable heart of Dr. Mortenheim. The men were shaken by this. Some had suggested we throw the thing back overboard. Others suggested we take her to the doctor for either reward or absolution. "We will do no such thing," I said over the turmoil, then turned to my first mate. "Herr Schuler, make her accommodations in my cabin. I will bunk with the crew tonight." Then I drew my service revolver and thrust it into his palms. "If anyone gives you trouble, give them twice back." On the morrow, I was informed that our rescue had come too, so I took it upon myself to speak with her. I was stunned at her eloquence of speech and nuance of movement. She was so unlike the other abominations and flesh golems we had come across. If I didn't know better, I would have mistaken her for human. But it became clear that she had no knowledge of who she was or what she was even doing near the Agonies. When I mentioned Schloss Mortenheim, however, a panic ran through her face, and the fear in her eyes struck my very soul. For whatever discernible reason, she could not, absolutely would not go back there, if it indeed is where she came. And so, upon nightfall, Herr Schuler and I sequestered her upon a lifeboat with a few days' worth of food and a heavy cloak, not for the cold, but to shield her deformity. The faint glow of the unbreakable heart shined in appreciation in her eyes, and with the gentle lapping of waves of that night, it soon faded into the darkness.
My mic was off. Ooh.
All right, so Lamordia, Frankenstein.
Yes, I put lesbian Frankenstein on mine.
Yeah, Lamordia is essentially what happens when Frankenstein, the doctor, not the monster,
Right.
runs amok.
Yeah.
It is a place that
Execution day.
Yeah. No, that's a joke no one's gonna get.
Yeah, I know. Just does.
So it's described. First of all, it's described as very Germanic. All the towns have names like Neufukettenberg and Ludendorff, which is unfortunate. And there is it's also described as being very industrial. There is
steampunk-like.
It's very steampunk. It describes how there are machines, giant clockwork steam-powered machines that are keeping this. What?
I was gonna say, but they also describe how there's like flesh.
Oh yeah,
in the machinery.
Yeah, so
like...
so Lamordia is in a like forever winter. It just is.
Yeah.
It's like in the Arctic
How convenient!
Circle of the world.
You can really preserve your bodies.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. Holy shit. So yeah, Lamordia is very, very cold. It describes how much it gets below zero. It's not rime cold, but it's still pretty damn cold. And so because of the giant clockwork machines of the city work very hard to make sure to stave off starvation and to preserve the city. And they even describe how they go so far as boiling the sewers for heat. Mm-hmm. But another interesting thing is that it describes how the people of Lamordia, particularly the people of the town of Ludendorff, which is the city, right? The other one, Neufurtenberg, is essentially a mining town. But it describes how the people of Ludendorff are armed with firearms. So we got guns, people.
They're steampunk guns.
if we were to honestly give guns, I would go so far as to say revolvers. I wouldn't go anything below that, or I mean anything beyond that. Like I wouldn't have like fucking or anything like that. But
it's Frankenstein monster.
Yeah, no, nothing like that. But yeah, and it describes how the hills of New Fechtenberg, wandering it, are the rejected abominations of Dr. Mortenheim, and how even the mountain in which New Fechtenberg mines into might or might not be alive. They call it the Beast. I think, hold on, no, they call it the Sleeping Beast, or just the Beast for short. And they describe how like the mines act a lot like veins, like arteries and stuff like that.
It's terrifying.
And how it's like before everyone started mining, it was considered like bad luck to be taking minerals out, because then the Sleeping Beast will wake. But they describe how the stone, which is called marrow stone, out of the mines, is very valuable and important for science. It's all very like, oh man, we shouldn't be going into these mines. So, but this is a land of not magic. This is a land of science. All of the things going on here is scientific. They don't. I mean, I'm not saying they don't give a crap about magic, but it's obviously the sciences are much more important here than anything else. And the idea that we are living, human, breathing people and deserve dignity upon death is like a mockery. Like they don't give a crap about that. Like there's something that's called the flesh price, where when you die, they will pay your family they will they will give your family monetary compensation to take your body and work on it. And that is apparently just a normal thing here in Lamordia. They will just they take people's bodies. They don't dispose of them. As far as I know, there's no graves in Lamordia. So
this is very much this is very much body horror to the max.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not even just body horror, just like everything's wrong here in Lamordia. Like it describes how like the whales are different here.
Well, they call them whales, but even the book says like, are they really whales? Or
it's else? Like it's like have you ever played Dishonored?
Yes.
Did you ever read like the whaler's journal in that?
No.
Where it's like, oh yeah,
I don't read in video games.
But it's like, yeah, getting the oil out of a whale, it's easy enough. All you gotta do is once you saw off the tentacles out of the front of its snout, you're like, wait, hold on, what? You're just like, it's just small stuff like that, where it's just like there's something off about this. And then there's a part of the world called Winter's Mouth, which apparently, if you get to it, it's under the ocean. Which if you get to it, it whispers secrets to you or something. I don't know, because no one's ever survived, and it's just. This is a.
Now here's a bigger question: how do we get here, Andrew?
What do you mean? How do you get? There's one way you can get here.
No. I'm saying like you didn't go on the backstory of Dr. Mortenheim.
Okay, so Dr. Mortenheim, I'm probably gonna screw this up, so help me out here.
Yeah.
So Dr. Mortenheim was described as brilliant at a young age.
Yeah.
Very, very quizzical and stuff like that, and very knowledgeable. But she was essentially a sociopath. Yep. She didn't have any compassion or anything like that.
She became a doctor not to help people.
She became a doctor. She became a doctor because she wanted to see how people work. Yeah. She didn't care about healing people. She just wanted to take them apart.
Yeah. And
just watched how it ticked. But somewhere along the way, she. Oh no. So she became a doctor and was working on cadavers, and the grave robber that she hired became like her life partner.
Yeah. No. Hold on, rewind a little bit.
Yeah. So sorry. You're going to help me out here.
Yeah. No, she didn't just work in cadavers. She was a doctor, but like she got bored of it because she's like, oh, they're already dead. There's not only so much I can do. And then it's classic Frankenstein. Like she knew that she could do more than that, so she wanted to bring the dead back to life stronger than before. Like she will like perfect the body of a dead person and then bring it back to life. And you know, just in classic Frankenstein, like that game that we played, the board game that we played, like she managed to get the body parts that she needed through certain means, you know, and stuff like that. One of the body snatchers that she was working with was
Elise.
Yeah, her. Elise. Yeah.
And so she wanted to defeat death, not because, you know, she wanted to help people, but because she wanted to be the person that was known to defeat death.
Right.
Like such was her own you know, self glory and stuff like that, her vanity. And so she hired these body snatchers, and one of them was Elise, and somehow the two had a chemistry, and they started to form a bond, and it's heavily implied they became lovers. But Elise fell under the was starting to die from an incurable disease, and it was like wasting away at her. So Dr. Mortenheim kicked her research into high gear and was like working on bodies like night and day, just trying to unlock the secrets.
She wasn't being careful as to like how often she got bodies or where from.
Oh no, she was being very sloppy. Time was on the line here. She had to work.
Yeah.
And because of that, she let a trail right back to her. And the moment she perfected like what it was that defeated death was the moment the police came.
I think it's called the Golden Heart.
Yeah. Oh no, the Unbreakable Heart.
The Unbreakable Heart.
And it describes how the constables like stormed her laboratory right when she finished the Unbreakable Heart. And they started to arrest her, and they were pulling her out from the library. And when that happened, the smoke, the mist started to form around the laboratory. And when they dissipated, she was in the land of Lamordia.
Well, but right before the mist took over, she saw Elise wake up and rise up with her with her unbreakable heart inside of her.
Yep, Elise rose from the table, and it describes how there was arcing lightning in the background, and then she woke up. She woke up in Lamordia, where people know who she is.
Yeah,
they know. When I say they know who she is, they know that she's a genius, and they love her for it. And one of her torments is that the people will go out of her way to celebrate her genius, and she just sees it as a distraction. She's like, okay, that's great. I thank you for bye.
It's a classic like a superstar in public. They just want to get from point A to point B, but you have like a bunch of fans getting in the way. Like same thing, but with research and all that.
Yeah, like the moment she leaves her castle of Schloss Mortenheim and to the moment where she's got to go, she's constantly hampered by fans and fanatics and paparazzi and stuff like that. It also describes how one of her torments is that she can't find Elise. No matter what, Elise always evades her. And it actually describes how Elise is purposely evading her.
Yep.
And she wants no part of Dr. Mortenheim after.
She's distraught by what she has done to her.
Turn her into Frankenstein. Elise sees that she has become a monster, and she just can't confront Dr. Mortenheim because of that. And another thing is that for whatever reason, Dr. Mortenheim can't recreate the Unbreakable Heart. She just can't. It always fails. Something always goes wrong. She always gets an equation wrong, or can never seem to crack the code to it like she did before. But she is constantly tormented by the fact that she has to keep recreating this, and she just can't for the life of her.
Yeah.
One of the neat things is how one of the ways you can get to Lamordia.
And how's that? So
it actually describes that if you have a TPK, like an actual TPK, like everyone fails their death saves, you can have the doctor abduct the players, and it'll be like, ooh, I can use these bodies, and have her drag them back somehow, some way. Have her drag them back to Lamordia, where they wake up in Lamordia post surgery, and there could be like stuff going on with them. There's no table, unfortunately, to describe like what weird thing can happen to them once they've been recreated. by Dr. Mortenheim, but I'm pretty sure you can come up with some weird
And I can imagine
stuff.
that if you fail like a crit, like a critical failure or something like that, like your arm falls off and have to be put back on, cartoon style.
Oh no, it actually describes that you will come back as a reborn, which is a creature from the first chapter of this book.
Oh,
So yeah, so you will be reborn as a reborn.
fancy.
Yeah. So, oh no, there is stuff here. Oh yeah, cool. You're actually undead.
There you go.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty fun.
That would be neat. So, yeah, there is pretty cool stuff going on here. But hold on, I lost my place in Lamordia because I had to go back to chapter 1. So the weird thing is that despite the fact that there is all these monsters and stuff like that, I wouldn't put this very high on the level scale. Only because Dr. Mortenheim is physically weak.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if you're even supposed to be defeating her. I would imagine the key to unlocking this area is probably reuniting Elise with Mortenheim somehow.
Yeah.
Like have those two just, I don't know, hash it out, or maybe just have like Mortenheim put Elise out of her misery so she can finally learn, oh, that's the missing component I was looking for the unbreakable heart, and then that like unlocks the mists or something like that. But there is, I don't know, this area, it feels, it's weird because there's a very dark like part of it, but on top, it's weird. I really don't feel like there's a lot going on here. Am I wrong in
No,
thinking that?
I was feeling the same way. It's just, what is it? It's the classic Frankenstein thing, right? But what are the players gonna do? Are they just gonna find Elise and take the heart? I mean, the heart is an artifact. It does make you immune to like disease and a bunch of other crap or whatever. But it doesn't, like, what's the point? Like you said, like maybe what, like you reunite them and then they realize that, oh, you know, wanting to die is the last ingredient or whatever, something along those lines.
Yeah.
But I think this is more of like a, I don't know. I honestly, out of all of these four, I was actually very excited when I started reading this one, but I got pretty let down towards the end. It's a cool story, it's a cool backstory, but I don't think I will be running that. All the other ones have, even if it's not like action heavy, all the other ones are pretty fun to run and very interesting to find the secrets of. This one is just like, oh, everybody knows where the Dark Lord is. There's a crazy monster walking around with a glowing heart. Okay, let's kill both of them.
What is really like kind of off-putting is that this section is only 6 pages.
Yeah.
Like I actually, because the final part is the serving Dr. Mortenheim table, and there's only 4 parts. So I was like, oh, okay, what's next? What the hell? It goes into the next area, and I'm like, wait a minute, am I missing? No.
Which is weird because it's a Frankenstein based. You would think that they'll have a lot more material to pull from.
Yeah, it is really weird. It kind of feels like, okay, I know we're kind of going off the discussion here, but it kind of even feels like the creators just like, I don't know, man, just throw something in there. You know,
we need to have a Frankenstein themed one, so let's just do some. I mean, I like the backstory for the Dark Lord. I feel like there's room to play there. I feel like this is a very short adventure. This is like a plop it in between in a campaign. That's a side quest type situation. You know,
like if it was something like taking the idea that we had from the last episode where it's like, oh, you have to go through certain domains of dreads and stuff like that. Like have like the first one be like the first area be Dementlu, have the second one be Lamordia. You got to get the Unbreakable Heart for whatever reason, and then pop on out of there.
Yeah, something along those lines. This is not a very hefty domain at all.
No,
because even it doesn't say that the people are suffering or anything. Like there's no like drive to like, I gotta save these people, you know, like I don't know.
I mean, it talks about how like there is radiation in certain parts of the area and how there's like a threat of starvation, but then it's like, oh, but the machines are taking care of that, and we have whaling ships and whatnot. So it's like, you know, like what? I completely understand. I completely understand where you're coming from. Like, where is the drive for this adventure? And it's like, it's obviously just going to be Elise. Like, you have to find Elise or something like that. Like, there's nothing that jumps out at me. Like, oh, okay, this is, you know. And it's weird because like I was reading this, I'm like, yeah, guns, clockwork stuff, and it's like, oh,
that's it. Okay.
yeah, and it's weird because you have this really sparsed out land because the map is kind of big, but then you have Neufentenberg and Ludendorff, and then that's kind of it, and it's and like everything else in between. This place feels empty in a weird way, and I don't
not empty, not necessarily even empty on like physical. I just empty in drive, if that makes sense.
I feel like the session of the book needed 2 more pages.
Yeah,
like it just like everything else had a pretty cool gimmick. Like Cardacus was like, oh, you know the Dark Lord the whole time. He was there, and even like Dementlu had like some, and like Borka had some pretty cool stuff. But this one's just like, oh yeah, there might be a chance that the Doctor is gonna take you and turn you into a monster.
Yeah.
But it's like, when was the last time we actually killed a player?
Yeah. Right.
Or player character, I meant, not a player.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Lamordia, cool on paper. Yeah, but if you're really want to run an adventure there, you're gonna have to do a lot of work.
It might be a fun. It might be a fun experiment. No
I think this would be more of like a cool adventure to have like a sort of a day in the life of like, oh, I'm a miner in Neufentenberg. Oh, what the fuck is going on? Like it's weird because like the side things, the things going off on the side are more interesting than the actual central plot. Like what's going on with the whales, what's going on with the mines. I don't really care about Dr. Mortenheim. So
she did nothing wrong. Well, she did, but
no, she did a lot of things wrong.
All right. So that's, probably my least favorite of the 4s that we talked about today. I will probably put it at the bottom of my list of all the ones we've talked so far.
Yeah.
Not bad at all, and like content wise, not content wise, and on ideas wise, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like, oh, it's complete trash, I will never play this or touch this. But
so far this is like the Godfather 3 of like it's not bad on its own, but compared to all the other ones,
right, exactly.
So
but yeah. Sweet. So we talked about 4 more Domains of Dread. If you want to listen to our other 8, make sure to check out part 1 and 2 on Spotify, Apple iTunes, Google, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. Anywhere you listen to your podcast, we're probably there.
Stitcher? I don't know.
We actually are a Stitcher, yeah.
Hey,
look at that. But yeah, so hopefully you learned something new or found something that you might want to run. Make sure to leave us a comment if you liked it or disliked what we talked about, or if you have any ideas of how to improve Dr. Frankenstein's version of D&D here. But with that, let's move on to our next segment, my favorite of all.
I feel like, okay, one last final thought. I feel like, no. It's just, I was reading Lamordia and I'm like, this doesn't work for this engine. This would be a lot better for like Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Or something like that, you know?
Because I love Call of Cthulhu is a lot more investigative.
Yeah.
But anyways, so let me talk about news real quick because it's not a lot, and then we'll jump to session highlights. So
but the news is my favorite part.
No, it's not. Shut up. You hate it.
Session highlights suck.
So the mysterious book that leaked, quote unquote, on Amazon, it's actually Critical Role Call of the Netherdeep. That name is just that's what she said. I'm lukewarm to it. I'm gonna get the book obviously, but I get it. The Critical Role is huge. It makes millions of dollars a year on the show. You know, I think it's cool.
Well, now we officially know it makes millions of dollars a year.
But I get it. We already had the Matt Mercer book. I'd much rather this than Magic, honestly, because this is at least still like very rooted in D&D. But god damn it, give us the classic. There's so many other books that we want. Why?
The weird thing about it was that
give us Spelljammer, damn it, you cowards.
The weird thing
literally, I'm looking at the news thing on Facebook from Dungeons and Dragons, and the first comment, the most upvoted one, is, "Oh, I was expecting Spelljammer." Everybody is just like,
and you know what's really weird is that this book was announced, and you put it up on the group chat, and we were just all like, "Okay, cool." You know, like I'm not a fan of Critical Role. Like I never really got into it, but you know, hey, I might get it down the road. And apparently the rest of the world was on fire because of this. Like everyone's like, oh, Critical Role, what the fuck? And there was like a huge backlash.
Yeah,
apparently.
It was weird. Like I will say, like usually it's like either 50-50, right, when it comes to like Twitter hate or whatever. But this one got like I will, you know, rough number estimation here, but like 20%, yay, awesome, Critical Role, and 80%, what the fuck.
Well, no, there was 20%, yay, 75%, fuck Critical Role, and 5%. Okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, yeah.
Because it's like people were getting all freaked out, like, oh, they're pandering to Critical Role, stuff like that. Okay, you know, you can just not buy the book, right?
I just love the memes. The memes are just great.
It's not like Wizard of the Coast, like, all right, we're only coming out with 3 more books and this is one of them, fuck you. You know, it's nothing like that.
Right.
It's
That's it. This is the last book for 5e. Like,
yep, nope, nothing else.
Yeah.
It's like, who cares? Like, you know, and
we have the other Monster Manual Part 2 thing coming up anyway, so.
Yeah, and we're going to get an evolution in 2024? 2022?
Yeah.
2024. God, it's going to be forever.
Whatever that means.
But at 5.5.
Yeah.
But it's just like, dude, at the very least, if you are gonna get the book and you're really that butthurt about it, then just cannibalize some of the mechanics from it, because there's probably gonna be mechanics or
that's why I get it, because the other book had like the time wizard and like a bunch of other cool shit. Haven't used it. I probably should have looked into that when Octavia dies. But like, there's always stuff there. I like
how you said when, not if.
Yeah. Matt Mercer. So Matt Mercer. I mean, you have to give it to the guy. He's an amazing world builder, and this is like this is an actual full adventure. You know, there's gonna be cool stuff. Am I excited about it? Not really. But whatever. That was the big announcement. The other thing that has been going around, which I love, is the little snippets of the new dragons from Fizbin.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so they
that
have
dragon you posted on the chat.
Well, they have like, if you go to their Facebook, you'll see them. They keep posting them. They have an eye drake, which is like a dragon with a face of a bull, with horns, and inside of his mouth is an eyeball.
Oh no!
And his wings, it's like a demonic wings, and at the tip of the little cartilages things, like at the end, is a bunch of eyeballs. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. So there's that one. There's the Elder Brain Dragon, which looks disgusting.
Have you seen what the old Elder Brain Dragon used to look like, though?
No, I have not.
I'm trying to see if I can pull it up, because
is the one I showed an improvement? Because
it kind of it's an improvement in some ways, but in some other ways it's like, oh, okay, they did it because the other one's also kind of disturbing. I'm gonna try to pull it up.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's, you know. Other than that, I think from last episode, the Wild Beyond the Witchlight release, I got it. Beautiful book. I read the intro. I'm excited about it now. And of course, Monster of the Multiverse is on the way too. But that's it. That's all I have for news. Unless you have something else.
No, but I am gonna pull up a picture of this horrifying thing real quick, so you can get a good look at it.
I don't want it.
No, it's too damn bad.
No, I don't want it.
No, I don't care what you want.
You gotta be faster than that.
I am gonna. I'm working as fast as I can.
This is what the industry calls dead air, Andrew.
Yeah, so our whole freaking podcast is
Shut up!
Dead air.
No, it's not. All right. But yes. Do we even have session highlights?
We do. We had a session.
We did? Oh, okay.
Yeah. There you go. Get a face full of that.
Where do you send it through?
Zoom.
Oh my god, what magic are you showing me here? Oh no, my computer. There you go. Where is it? I think it looks cooler.
It looks more disturbing, right?
Yeah, no, it does definitely look more disturbing. I think the second mouth on the other one, it makes it a little bit more disgusting.
Yeah, the thing about the Elder Brain Dragon in 5e, it's like, at a glance, it's like, oh, okay, it's not so bad. But then you look at the smaller details, like, oh my god. But yeah,
what kind of dragon is that? Opens his mouth, a second mouth comes out. Oh god! Like instantly barfing. Just
like how the black dragon just like. Anyways,
all right. Anyways, so that's the news. We'll keep in touch, and we bring you news, but not in breaking record because we release every 2 weeks. So this news.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we try.
We strike when the iron's nice and cold.
Yes. It's not very efficient, but we do it anyways. Anyways, let's move on to session highlights. Andrew, as always, you go first. Session highlights. Session highlights.
Session highlights. Is it weird that my highlight is not the combat for this one?
Yes.
Because everyone was looking forward to the combat.
Oh my god, the build up to that combat.
And then that combat got resolved real fucking quick. So then you guys went to town and you met the one NPC that everybody wants to punt into the fucking frozen lake next to East Haven. Ronaldo, which led to my highlight, where Ronaldo was talking and Swift just rudely interrupts him, going like, "I'm sorry, do we know you?"
that whole thing, honestly, that was just so you know, that's also my highlight. That whole interaction was so like naturally awkward. Like we've all been there.
It was just from the moment you guys met him, like everyone's like, I fucking hate this guy. and everybody in town kind of hates him too. So it's like, why doesn't anybody do anything about this? We could beat the fuck out of this guy and no one's gonna say anything.
To teach him a lesson. Stop being so awkward.
Okay, so what happened was that. Do you want me to just give like a quick rundown of the entire session? Okay, so when we last left off, the players were being cornered by a frost giant skeleton, which they are level 2 at this point. Yeah. A frost giant skeleton is like a death sentence. Yeah. So thinking quickly, Octavio summons Chief Rindar from his orc stone, and Chief Rindar comes out and beats the living fuck out of this frost giant skeleton. Like, it's just like, it's not even a fight, it's murder at this point. And then everyone's like, oh, okay, that wasn't so bad.
Well, what I love about all that is that the guy goes down and the freaking will-o-wisp is still there fighting me. Yeah,
you're still fighting this little will-o-wisp.
The whole party is like this epic battle back and forth, like in the forefront of the camera. And in the background, it's just me just punching this little balloon.
Yeah, and you're sweating.
Yeah. I almost got him, guy.
And then Mittens comes up just stabs him real quick. Like, guys, it's not even that big of a deal. So then you guys find a cauldron that makes like infinite soup, and it's great. And you bring it back into town. You show it to the speaker. The speaker like tries not to cry when he realizes that his food problems are solved. And then you go first you go back to the White Lady Inn because Gar is like hanging on by a thread.
You were
like he was at 0 for like 2 hours of this session. What I love
about all that is that Howard as a character will be talking. I mean, as a player, we'll be talking, and Swifts are like, "Wait, you're dead." So he will describe it as Scar will just like out of nowhere stop talking. Like, oh yeah, I'm dead, and it goes back.
yeah. He's just talking and sleep. Just
like, hey guys, maybe you shouldn't do that. All
right. Investigate the cauldron.
Yeah.
Okay. but so Gar is like out for 2 hours of this. And so they drag him to the White Lady Inn to like get him some healing, and that's when they meet Ronaldo, who is a halfling psychic who, for whatever fucking reason, I gave him a Texan accent, now I gotta stick with that Texan accent. And immediately upon meeting him, I'm pretty sure Swift and Beery are like, we're gonna kill this guy.
I'm just glad their anger is not focused towards me anymore.
Yeah, they just immediately shifted the abuse to this person. And it's like the only reason why you're still alive is because it's illegal to kill you.
But if you step out of town with us for a second.
Yeah. So that was pretty much it. That was pretty much the whole session.
I mean, honestly, right, for me too, and the little bits that I talked about. But like, I think one of my favorite moments was the fact that like Octavio for the first time got paid for something that he did. It wasn't like money.
And you guys got paid a lot.
Yeah, we did, and it was like the first time that he got money for something that he actually worked for instead of just getting like a handout from his family. And I described it as he grabs the money and he just started crying because it was the first time he actually was useful.
He just grabbed it and started rubbing the coins all over his face.
No, not because it was money, because of he he earned that.
Yeah. I forgot what money smells like.
I was like, is that copper?
Oh, what do you mint these with? Yeah, no, it was great. You guys came under a windfall of cash finally.
Yeah.
After I think it was like session 3 beers, like, man, we gotta make some fucking money somehow.
We were running dangerously low.
And then it's like, speak for yourself. He's like covered in gold chains and shit,
rings, a coat, a crown for some reason.
Yeah. Oh man, everyone's gonna be rolling for starter gold now. No one's gonna be taking the preset.
Well, to be fair, he was naked for like the first session. He like
he was naked for like 40 minutes, and then he came out of it with like 72 gold, so he's fine.
Well, he also did roll pretty high too. So
he also did roll pretty good.
Oh
so,
man.
But then we leave off with the adventurers. Probably going to adopt some axe beaks or dogs or something. We don't know yet.
As long as you queue up the Chocobo theme song.
Maybe I will.
Yeah.
That don't play it here.
Yeah.
That's copyright.
Square Enix is coming after us.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Square Enix is fine as long as it's not Nintendo. We're good.
That is true.
Yeah.
Oh
so.
shit. All right. I think that's all we have for today.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Sweet. Thank you, everybody, for joining us one more time for another episode of A Talk About Opportunity. Make sure to join us live every Wednesday. We're trying to do it every Wednesday. Just life keeps getting away, birthdays and things that just keep happening.
But holidays are gonna be coming up,
we're probably gonna have like a break here soon, most likely all of December. But things happen. But for the most part, every Wednesday we have our Dungeons and Dragons live stream with the whole group, and we're currently going through Ram of the Frost Maiden, DM by Andrew. On Tuesdays, we are doing Epic Library of Epic Games, where we play my huge library of Epic Store games that I've been just compiling because they're free, so I just keep getting them. And then on Thursdays, Alex also does Epic Library of Epic Games. So Tuesday's me, Thursday's Alex. For the same reason, there's been birthdays and stuff, but we're trying to be as consistent as possible. So thank you guys for joining us when you do join us. But with that, make sure to follow us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, subscribe/follow us on Twitch. Make sure to leave a like on our podcast and just leave a comment. Let us know what you think. What would you like to hear us ramble about for 2 hours or so? But we are approaching our season finale. I think the next one is the last episode.
Yep, next one's gonna be the final one.
Yeah, for season 2, and then we're gonna start with season 3, where we talk all about the stock market.
Yeah, where we talk about the trading part of towns. What would be the main export of Waterdeep?
Water.
Besides prison labor?
No, it's water.
Water.
This is what's called Waterdeep. But yes, thank you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful week, rest of your week, or start of your week. But this comes on a Wednesday, so midweek. Man, I really need to think about when this episode's come out.
Hump day.
Hump day. But yes, make sure to join us, guys. And as always, keep on gaming, keep on having a good time, and stay safe out there. And with that, you guys have a good night, and we'll see you next week, or live every week. Maybe, I don't know.
We'll see when you see it.
Yeah. All right, you guys have a good night. Bye.
Get out of here, you.
All right, let me end the